Maybe. And we're in a difficult Hagah. Let me refresh your memory on what we probably don't remember. And it's a difficult Hagah, but a very important one of the Nefesh Hachaim. I think to understand it better, I want to go with you to the Tanakh and tell you the background of this particular what he's talking about here. What happens in the story was that Nasan HaNavi, who was sort of the personal Navi of Dovid Melech. Dovid Melech received many nevuahs through Nasan HaNavi. The most important nevuah that he received from Nasan HaNavi was that you, Dovid, are going to be the Melech Yisrael. It's the most important thing. Not
Did David himself not have nevuah?
He had nevuah, but certain nevuahs he received. The Gemara speaks about why certain nevuahs he received. Certain came through Nasan, some things through Mephibosheth. Different things came different ways, and even in Tehillim it's divided up accordingly. But the nevuah, and the answer is what the Gemara says, that sometimes you can't have a nevuah about yourself. Can't have a nevuah by yourself. Ein bal anes makir b'nisay. You can't. It's too close to understand it, to interpret it correctly. It's too hard. You can have some nevuah about yourself, but not this. So the nevuah the Nasan HaNavi gave to Dovid HaMelech was, you are going to be the Melech Yisrael. This was big. This was very big. You're going to be the Melech Yisrael.
And that's before Shmuel came to him?
Yeah. This nevuah. So. The story is reviewed, and this is what the Nefesh Hachaim is referring to, in Divrei Hayamim, where everything is reviewed. And first it says, Parak Yud Zayin, Divrei Hayamim Aleph, Parak Yud Zayin. Vayihi balayla hu, vayihi dvar elikim el Nasan lemor, and Hashem came to Nasan, Lech v'amarta el David Avdi, go tell David Avdi, Koi Amar Hashem Loi Ato Tivna Li Habayis Lashavas. That although you're going to be the king, you're not going to build the Beis Hamikdash. Ki Lo Yashavti B'Bayis Min Hayoyim Asher Aleisi Yisrael. Anyways, he goes on and tells them that you're going to be the king, but you're not going to build the Beis Hamikdash. But then he says, however, even though you're not going to build the Beis HaMikdash, your children will build the Beis HaMikdash. When the time comes for you to be with your fathers, meaning, nice way of saying when you're going to die, what's going to happen is I will raise up your children, acharecha, who come after you, which was Shlomo HaMelech, Asher Yeh Mibanecha, one of your children, V'achinoisi Es Malchusai, and I will make him a melech also. This is all Hashem talking. Hu Yivna Li Bayis, he will build the Bayis, V'choinanti Es Kisai Ad Oilam, and from Shlomo HaMelech will come the Kisei HaMalchus forever. Now this is what's important, is that all of the Malchei Yisrael have to come, not just from Dovid HaMelech, but they have to be Malchus Beis David and David and Shlomo. So David is the beginner or of this Malchus. V'chonanti es kisoi ad olam. This is what Nasan HaNavi said in the name of Hashem. Ani Eloi la'av, v'hu yeli leben. I'll be his father. He'll be my son. V'chasti lo yaser me'imai. I'll never take away my chesed from him. Kashir shiroisi me'asher haya lefanecha. As I did, I was not going to change my mind like Shaul, others. Like they were supposed to be the king, turned out not to be the king. This is the king forever. David, Shlomo. V'hamadatiu b'veisiu v'malchusei ad ha'olam v'chisei yanochen ad olam. A repeat in the pasuk. V'chol advar me'elu kechol ha'chazoin hazeh kein diber nasan el David. This is all the things that, this is probably, I'm assuming, the most important nevuah that Dovid HaMelech received through Nasan HaNavi. Says the next pasuk, Vayavai HaMelech David Vayeshev Lifnei Hashem. This is the first time it recalls Dovid HaMelech in Divrei Yamim HaMelech David. So suddenly he was crowned as the Melech. So Vayavai HaMelech Dovid, Vayeshev Lifnei Hashem, and he sat before Hashem. It means he went to the, there was the Aron, there wasn't a Beis HaMikdash, but there was the Aron Kodesh, and he went and he sat by the Aron Kodesh, and he started to speak to Hashem. In other words, he started to reflect and to daven on the fact that he was just told by Nasan Hanavi in the name of Hashem that he's the king, and his son will be the king forever and ever and ever. It means until the Mashiach, he'll be the king. So he goes by the Aron Kodesh, and he sits by the Aron Kodesh. Vayavai HaMelech David, Vayeshev Lifnei Hashem, Vayomer. This is what he said. This was his words. Mi ani Hashem Elokim. Who am I? Who am I? Mi Beisi. Who's my forefathers? The Gemara criticizes him for this because Yishai was a Gadol Adar, David ben Yishai. Yishai was a Gadol Adar, but still, what he meant probably was, Mi Beisi, I come from Rus, a Gioris, who comes from Ammon, from Moab, who were Rishayim, who came from Lot and his daughters, which was altogether an incestuous relationship. And here you're pulling on me, right? On me to be the king of Israel. Li Lazari ad olam mi ani umi beisi ki avi oisani ad haloim, that you brought me ad haloim, to this point. What does halom mean? It's an interesting word. Halom. So we'll get back to that, but that's not important. But in the English, it says, who brought me this far. Haloim, this far. V'tiktan zois beinecha Elokim v'tadaber al beis avdecha l'meirachik. I'm reading the English. It was insufficient in your eyes, Hashem, so you have spoken also of your servant's household in the distant future. You're not just talking about me being the Melech. So Hashem crowns kings, okay? He's the king crowner. But you're not just talking about me. That would be small for you. When you were with the statement that David HaMelech was reflecting on, the statement of Hashem. Let me just imagine this in a very human way. You just found out that not only am I the king of Israel, whoa, right? You got the job, but that all your children will be Malchei Yisrael until the Geula, including the Geula. Tadaber al beis avdecha l'meirachik v'ri'isani, and you have considered me kisar ha'adam hamala Hashem Elokim. Considered me kisar ha'adam. Another hard word. Chaf, taf, vav, resh. What does it mean? Kisar ha'adam. Yeah, in the translation, me kisar adam, like a person, hamala, as if I'm a great man. Hashem Elokim. You're talking to me as if I'm some kind of a gadol. So David HaMelech is coming to this with great humility, and he's saying, I come from nowhere, and you're talking to me like I'm somebody very, very important, and you're telling me not only am I great, but my children and great-children and grandchildren, great-grandchildren will be straight. My Yosef oy David elecha lechavod es avdecha v'atas avdecha yadata. What else, he talks about himself, what more can David say to you, Hashem? What can I do? Hashem ein kamocha v'ein elikim zulasecha b'chol asher shamanu baznenu mi ka'amcha Yisrael. So he says, it's wonderful what you've done, and this is a very important pasuk, what you've done for me. But then he says, this became a famous pasuk, Umi ka'amcha Yisrael. Who are like your people, Klal Yisrael? Goy echad ba'aretz, asher halach alikim liftois le'am, that Hashem took them as a people, lasum, took them out of Mitzrayim, lasum l'chashem, gedulais v'nairais, and you made the Jewish people such a great people, l'garesh mipnei amcha, asher padisa mi Mitzrayim goyim, that you would take a nation outside of a nation. So here he acknowledges, David HaMelech acknowledges, that the greatness that he's being given is really because Mikam Yisrael. In other words, unto himself he would have no greatness. The Malchus was because there's this great people, Klal Yisrael. And Vatitin es Amcha Yisrael l'cholam ad olam v'ata Hashem ha'yisa lohem l'elakim. Klal Yisrael has taken you as a God, and you've taken them as a people. V'ata Hashem So now Hashem, Adavar asher dibarta al avdecha val beisai, this that you have said about me and about my household, yeh amen ad olam va'aseh kasher dibarta. V'yeh amen, we will make true. V'yigdal shimcha ad olam leimar Hashem tzvakos elokei Yisrael elokim Yisrael based Dovid avdecha nachon lefanecha. We'll hold true to this promise and make the Jewish people great. So this was his inauguration speech that he made, but he only made it standing by the Aron, sitting by the Aron in front of Hashem. Ki ato elikai, because you are Hashem, golisa es oizen avdecha, you let it be heard, you revealed to my ears. Leave nois leibayis, that a house will be built, the Beis Hamikdash will be built. Alkein matza avdecha lispalu fanecha, and that's why I'm here talking today. Va'ata, tumor psukim, Hashem, ata hu holikim. But you are Hashem, va'ata, va'tadaber al avdecha hatoy va'azois, va'ata alta levarech es beis avdecha liyos ha'olam ufanecha, ki ata Hashem beirachta mevarech li'olam. But, ata alta levarech es beis avdecha, you made a bracha for me, liyos la'olam lefanecha, that we will always be lefanecha. My house will always be important to you, ki ata Hashem beirachta u'mevarach le'olam. Okay, so this is the story. So the story is Nasan HaNavi crowns him as the Melech. He understands in this that I'm the Melech forever. Dovid Melech Yisrael Chai V'Kayim, point A. He understands in this that he's really not worthy from a familial, or he doesn't have the yichus brief to be able to really be the Melech, so he's doesn't quite understand why he's the Melech. And he's also told he's not the one who's going to build the Beis HaMikdash. Shlomo Melech's going to build the Beis HaMikdash, going to be, and he's understanding that Mikamcha Yisrael, and this is very, very important, that Mikamcha Yisrael, that what it's all about is that the purpose of the Bnei Yisrael, that would be us, is to be Megala the Kvod Hashem Ba'olam. That's why the world was created, that's why we were created, and that's why Mashiach is going to come, and that's why there's going to be a Geula. It's all about being Megala the Kvod Hashem, or to put it in more Nefesh Hachaim language, to bring the Shechina into this world. So that's the pasuk.
So why did David walk into the Mishkan? Is this for God, or did they ask him for him? I mean, he's just coming to thank him?
He's coming to thank him, and he's coming to, I believe, this is a little bit risque to say, I believe he's coming to review and to clarify what his purpose is in the world.
Well, why does the Rav think that's risque?
It just sounds very modern.
No, it's not clear from the sitting with the Rav read that it's not clear what he was doing.
What was he doing? It was a reflection. It was a review. It was understanding, a clarity. Now, if you go back on this, it just Mi Hashem, Mi Ani. This was his opening line. Mi Ani. Who am I? Hashem Elokim. Umi Beisi Kavi Oisani Ad Haloim. So I mentioned that Haloim is an interesting word. Trying to find the exact translation of the word halom. You brought me thus far? I don't know. Ad koi. What's ad halom? It occurred to me that Moshe Rabbeinu was called to the Sneh to save Klal Yisrael, and Hashem said to him, what? Al tikrav halom. All right? Al tikrav haloim. Shal nalecha me'al raglecha amakim asher ata oimed alav ad mas kodesh. Moshe Rabbeinu sees the fire. Vasnei nenu ukal. The fire doesn't extinguish. Keeps on burning. He starts to approach the fire, and Hashem says, "Al tikrav halom." Don't get too close. So halom here means don't get too close. Doesn't mean thus far, Radko. Al tikrav haloim. And then he tells them strangely, which I've talked about a number of times, take off your shoes first. Shal na'alecha me'al raglecha. Not so quick. Hamokim asher ata oimed alav. And there, on that pasuk, Hashem says, Al tikrav haloim. Al tikrav haloim. Shal na'alecha me'al raglecha. Not so quick. Hamokim asher ata oimed alav. Ad mas kodesh. And there, on that pasuk, Hashem says, Al tikrav haloim. Al tikrav haloim. Shal na'alecha me'al raglecha. the Gemara in Zvachim Kuf Beis Amud Aleph comments, what was Hashem saying when he said, Al Tikrav Halom? He was saying, so on this the Gemara says, Ein Haloim Ela Malchus. Somebody able to pull out a Ein Yaakov Gemara Zvachim here? A little bit tricky. So the third shelf down. The last file. Zvachim. This is so important, so meduyak. Al Tikrav Halom, the Gemara says, third shelf down. There, down. Here. Last volume, Zvachim. Your hands on it.
Oh,
yeah. One down, sorry. There you go. Okay, so trust me. So the Gemara says as follows. Okay, Shmuel, I'll do that. The Gemara says as follows, that when just amazing, look, put yourself in this, if it's possible, put yourself in the position of Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu sees this was the ultimate in having a calling. Whoa, he recognized right away this was the Shekhinah, Moshe Rabbeinu. He wasn't so familiar with the Shekhinah because he was, in the Bais Yisrael, he was mechapes, all kinds of different. Yisrael was an Ovid Avodah Zarah. That's where he lived. But religious people. When he saw the burning bush, he said, this is the Shekhinah. And he goes to approach the Shekhinah. He goes to approach, and Hashem tells him, stop, Al Tikrav Haloim. Don't get so close. So the Gemara explains that Moshe Rabbeinu right away thought that he was Amar Ula. Ula says that Moshe right away thought, I'm being made the Melech of Klal Yisrael. Ve'ein haloim ela malchus. You're not the Melech. You're not the Melech. I'll take Rav Halom. Chill. Don't get too over enthusiastic here. So Rabbah says to Ula, what do you mean he wasn't a Melech? Moshe Rabbeinu was a Melech. So he says, he was a Melech. Moshe Rabbeinu did have a din of a Melech, but it wasn't Lo Yulazarei Ad Olam. You're not the Mashiach. So Al Tikrav Halom, so means Moshe Rabbeinu, you are not the Mashiach. That's what the words mean according to the Gemara. Al Tikrav Halom, you're not the Mashiach. What's up with the Mashiach? Who's talking about Mashiach? I've explained many times the way this works. Adam Arishan did a chet. If Adam Arishan would not have done a chet, wouldn't have needed a Mashiach. The Mashiach is to be Masakin the chet of Adam Arishan, to be Masakin the chet of the world, to bring the world back to where it's supposed to be. Where is it supposed to be? Gan Eden. That's what it was supposed to be. So Olam Haba is really the original, going back to the paradisal state that Adam Arishan was born in. Adam without chet, you wouldn't need Tchias HaMesim because nobody would have ever died. You wouldn't need no wars because nobody was fighting. Adam Arishan Koydem HaChet was a pristine world. It was a perfect world. That was the world of the Geula. When the ultimate Geula comes, that's where it's going to be. So now, for all the generations, from Adam Arishan until Moshe, they're looking for the Mashiach. Who's going to be Masakin the Chet? There were many, many tries at it, which we'll talk about in a minute. So Moshe Rabbeinu understood what this is the ultimate galus. Look, there was a Holocaust going on in Mitzrayim. The Jews were slaves. People were being killed. It was terrible discrimination against the Jews. It was known since the time of Avram Avinu, certainly known to Moshe Rabbeinu. He discovered this in Mitzrayim already, that he was Jewish and that they have a purpose of bringing out this Geula and being Masaka in the world. So the whole thing, the whole sefer Shemos, the whole story was davening for the Mashiach.
But he's a Levi.
So Hashem told him, you're not the Mashiach.
Why would he have him in according to the Ein Yaakov that he was?
Why can't he be a Mashiach if he's a Levi?
I mean,
why can't Levi be a Mashiach?
I thought Mashiach had to be based by Yehuda.
Afterwards. Said David, this is Nasan Navi. You see, whoever it is, whoever it is, like, am I going to bring the Geula to the world or not? So Hashem tells him, you're not going to bring the Geula. Al tikrav halom. Very interesting. Why can't Moshe Rabbeinu? Does somebody have a better candidate?
Something else.
I say Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu can't be the Mashiach. The Babich Rebbe can be the Mashiach. What do we want from the Mashiach? Rabbi Kiva thought Bar Kochba was the Mashiach. Better than Moshe Rabbeinu.
There was no Am Yisrael. I mean, like as a Le'om at that time.
Why not? B'nai Yisrael.
No Matan Torah. Come out of Mitzrayim.
Beseder. So the message should have been, which it was, you're going to take the people out of Mitzrayim. You're going to take them to get the Torah. You're going to come right back to the spot and you're going to get the Torah. You're going to take them into Eretz Yisrael. And the Geula Fartik, there's a Mashiach. So Moshe Rabbeinu was excited about this mission. It was, okay, here it is. It's, I guess his head was there. Moshe Rabbeinu's head. He was 80 years old.
On the contrary, he stepped down just before he came to Eretz Yisrael. That was when he handed off to Yeshua.
Well, he wouldn't have stepped down. He was not allowed to go into Eretz Yisrael. It's not that he stepped down. He was stepped down. Right? Hashem demoted him. So basically what Hashem was telling him, you're not going to Torah Yisrael, you're not going to build the base of Mikdash, you're not going to be the Mashiach, you're going to take the Bnei Yisrael out of Mitzrayim, and Al Tikrav Halom. That's what he told him. So, not only a puzzling, but a harsh message. But he didn't bring Mashiach. Mishkan was a prelude for Dovid Melech Yisrael went to the Mishkan, he went to the Aron. But we're not talking about the Beis Hashem. It's a shtickle shchina.
So even before the rock, the incident with the rock.
So that's what's going to, he knew already, correct. He knew already that he's not going into Eretz Yisrael. I'm going to go back to the pasuk of Shal Nalech Me'arakaf. What is Moshe Rabbeinu's response to this? This is what's interesting. What was his response to Hashem?
I don't want to go.
He said, what?
He rejected the mission.
Leave me alone. And what's his lashon? So what do I need? What do I need the whole thing? His lashon of Moshe Rabbeinu is, he says, Hashem, amazing lashon, shlach na biyad tishlach. If I'm not going to be Mashiach, get Mashiach, let him see a bush, show him a bush, burning bush, and let him take the people out of Mitzrayim. This wasn't an egocentric thing. If I'm not going to be Mashiach, what are we doing over here? If I'm not going to be Mashiach, but understand Mashiach, don't understand it like, I don't want to understand this like kids. In other words, if I can't do the final tikkun, what am I doing? I'm just a little piece in the middle there, taking the Bnei Yisrael out of Mitzrayim. Let's do the tikkun already. Let's get world peace. Let's get the Shechina into this world. Let's do it already. So he says, Shlach na biyad tishlach. Rashi says, Alam Makom, and Shmos Perek Zayin. Rashi says, Alam Makom, Shlach na biyad tishlach. If I'm not going into Eretz Yisrael, send somebody else. That's what he says. There's a Targum, Yonason, Ben Uziel, Alam Makom, Shlach na biyad tishlach. Why don't you send Pinchas? Pinchas is Pinchas zu Eliyahu. Pinchas he's a Mashiach kind of guy. He's a strong person. Pinchas becomes Eliyahu Hanavi. Eliyahu Hanavi is Mavaseh to Mashiach. So send Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron HaKohen. They weren't talking so much about Kohanim, Levim, Yisrael. So send Pinchas. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, no, I'm sending you for this mission. Shlach na biyad tishlach. Why? And I'm just analyzing the psukim here. Shlach na biyad tishlach is a very strange lashon, no? Somewhere I saw, I don't know where I saw it, but biyad, shlach na biyad tishlach. Yad is gematria 14. What else is gematria 14? David. Shlach na biyad tishlach. So bring already David HaMelech's neshama now, and let the Geula begin. Let the party start. Let's make it happen. Shlach na biyad tishlach. Well, Yedid ben Yedid, right? The Gemara has a Yad and Yad. It's all about 14 and 14. David and Shlomo, Yad and Yad, which is Koch, 28, etc. The problem with Moshe Rabbeinu is, understand I'm just saying it this way, I don't have any problems with Moshe. But the issue was Hashem told him, Shal na'alecha me'al raglecha. Take your shoes off. Take your shoes off. What's the take your shoes off? So Moshe Rabbeinu was a himmelmensch. His head was in the Shemayim. Was his feet touching the ground? In other words, in order to be the Mashiach, you have to, of course, be Rosha B'Shamayim, but you have to be Arza, you have to be like part of this world, not because like you got to be down to earth, not only because of that, not only because like Mashiach can't be coming from an ivory tower, but there's not really be in touch with the world, but the Tahara, the Geula of the world has to reach down to the lowest part of the world and permeate the deepest place, the butts of the world, the stones, the rock, the parts of the world which rich people never see because they're wearing shoes and they're insulated from that. You can walk over everything when you have shoes. You can walk on glass, you can walk on fire, you can walk on everything when you have shoes. No, Shal Na'alecha. The problem with Moshe Rabbeinu is you're not the Mashiach because, yes, you are in Shemayim, but you're not as much Ba'aretz. You ran away from Mitzrayim, which is okay. You're meditating in the fields with the sheep all the time. You're talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're going to go on Har Sinai, but you're not the man on the ground. Every great Himmelmensch needs a man on the field, a man on the ground. Needs somebody down there.
So it's right to say that this is, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was saying, this is not the final tikkun, this is the process.
You are the process, you are not the final tikkun.
And you are the leader of that process.
Right. Moshe Rabbeinu says at the end of the Torah in his final drasha to Klal Yisrael, I mentioned this last week, that you have to keep the mitzvahs, you have to listen to Hashem, you have to remember the bris. V'haya ekev asher tishmun. So Rashi says ekev asher tishmun. Ekev is the heel. So it has to go from head to toe. You have to have your feet. Ekev asher tishmun means that if you don't have your feet on the ground, the mitzvahs kalos, the mitzvahs kalos that a very, very chush of a person, a himmelmensch can't be bothered with it. It's not like Ekev Asher Tishmun tells Klal Yisrael you can't just be up there, you have to be all the way down to the earth. So what does Hashem say to Moshe Rabbeinu? Shal na'alecha me'al raglecha. Now it's and that's so al tikra of haloim. Key thing here is al tikra haloim. Ein haloim, you look in your Nefesh Hachaim, ein haloim ela malchus. This is a quote from Gemara Mizrachim Kuf Beis. Moshe Rabbeinu, you can't be the melech. You could be a melech today. As Doran says, you'll be a melech today, but not loyu lazarei ad olam. So says the Gemara, so says Rava. This is a lashon of Rava. You're not going to be loyu lazarei ad olam. In fact, Moshe Rabbeinu's children, who are they? Nothing. I mean, it wasn't like Dovid Melech's children, we know well. And they weren't all good, but they were all very down to earth. You see, the problem is, I just want to make a side comment here, that the problem with having your feet on the ground, ad kedei kach, is that you can really get messed up also. As a local kach pashut, you can't win a fight in the mud without getting dirty. So the fight of the Mashiach is a very difficult fight. It's in the gutter. And the tzaddikim, the derech klal, don't like to be in that place. Be in a more exalted place, a place of kedusha, Torah. Look at the whole, I don't want to be political now, but the whole frum world, Haredi world, it's all about insulating ourselves. Understandable. Insulate. I don't want to see Tumah, I don't want to see Britzos, I don't want to see Avodah Zarah, I don't want a church in Israel, I don't want any, I would just keep me away from all of this stuff. Yafeh, beautiful to be Kadosh B'Tahar, but it's a sort of, disconnect. It's a disconnect, it's an incubator, underdeveloped, like they say, the problem with, since I'm a kid, doctors are giving everybody so much penicillin and so many antibiotics that it doesn't work anymore. In other words, there's too much pristinity. It's not but it's a very dangerous place. Not everybody is for being down to earth. Many have tried and failed. Many have tried but to can understand the Malchei Yisrael, it wasn't like Moshe Rabbeinu elite. It was so it's a gewaldige Medrash Tanchuma that like Bar Rasha Eitzel Yeshua bin Nun. A Rasha came to speak to Yeshua bin Nun, and he said to him, he says, Moiri Yeshua, this is lashon of the Medrash. My Rebbe Yeshua, you could stop the sun from moving, but can you stop me from sinning? No question in my mind. You could change the whole Bria. You could stop the sun. He stopped me. Like this was a person crying out to him. I also want to do tshuva. Am I worse than the sun? You have bechira chavshas. It's very difficult. It's a very difficult situation. Very difficult place to be. And we've seen in our own lifetime that people, very l'shem shemayim people, have tried and they have failed. It's very difficult not to get dirty. I think, by the way, this was pretty much the derech, the messianic derech of the Baal Shem Tov, that it was to like get down with the water carriers, with the ganovim, right? He had a band of thieves that he used to make a tish for them. The idea was to be mal and tzaitzes, to go to the lowest place and to bring it up. So the Baal Shem Tov ended up okay, but it's not so pasha. But that is what's
flipped now. It's all flipped now. You look at the Chassidim. It's not about the water carrier anymore.
It's a pella, yeah.
It's all
a
flipped
pella.
on its head.
That's a pella because it's so. I think, unless I'm missing something, it's so hafuch from the derech of the Baal Shem Tov.
Yeah.
Like to be so insulated and to be so.
Chabad is very.
Chabad is like that. Yeah. Like
this is why Yitzchak.
This is Chabad. In other words, that's why they feel that they're the true heirs of the Baal Shem Tov. But okay, I don't want to get into. Okay, but we're talking about Dovid here. We're talking about Dovid. It could be. Okay, Mashiach. Mashiach ben Yosef also is Yisoid, but Yisoid is not as bad as Malchus. Malchus, you see, in other words, in Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, we're getting lower and lower. Netzach, Hoid, Yisoid, Malchus, it's mamish. Malchus is mamish. Shal na'alecha mi'al raglecha. Take off the gloves, take off the shoes, take off the socks. Shal na'alecha mi'al raglecha. You're mamish hitting the ground. And that's where the action is, and that's where the geula is. And al tikrav haloim, you Moshe Rabbeinu, this is not for you. You're part of the process, like you say. Mashiach ben Yosef was part of the process. This is an earlier part of the process. If Yosef was midas hanetzach, what was Moshe? Yosef was midas hayisoid, what was Moshe? Moshe netzach. You're way up there on every level, kabbalistically, practically, physically. He was up there. Moshe Rabbeinu was up there. Look, who wouldn't stand in line for a bracha for Moshe Rabbeinu? But there's two kinds of rebbes. There's the kinds of rebbes. There are the rebbe, as the Baal Shem Tov said, the rebbe of the thieves, and then there's the rebbe of the tzaddikim. So I'm not, by the way, suggesting anybody change their derech or anything. I'm just saying that it's also. Let's be honest, it's also much more comfortable to live in an insulated world.
Sure.
Besides for being less dangerous, but who wants to expose their kids to,
It's complicated.
Very complicated. But I always tell the story of this guy who was telling you at University of Buffalo. He spent his whole student career learning how to cure, at that point, the big illness in the world was malaria. So he learned how to cure malaria. So all kinds of chidushim in malaria. So he said he's one of the 7 people in the world that understand malaria well. I remember him telling. So I said, so now you have to go to the Amazon or something and go cure malaria. He said, I'm not going there. I said, why not? He said, because there's malaria. So no way.
But Moshe's mission changed, and he went back to Mitzrayim. He was the one that spoke to Paro, brought the Makos, took out the Atzamas Yosef, and
didn't get completely down to Soif Kol Soif. At the end of the day, he got down there. he got the Torah, and then he was in the oil moed with a mask on. And
but already by Amalek, he was up Bashamayim, so to speak.
Bashamayim. B'diuk. That's exactly where he was, Bashamayim.
So this is why Yitzchak's backing Esav to be
Nachon, for sure, everything. And then Avram is backing Yishmael, go earlier. He's a Pera Adam. Yadai Bakol, Yad Kol Boy, Yishmael, he's a Mashiach. See, I'll tell you something that Noach, there are different tries at the Tikkun going on through history. When Noach was born, the end of Parshas Bereishis, the very end of Parshas Bereishis, Noach was born to Lamech, and Lamech says, Vayikra Shmoi Noach, he was called Noach, why? Hu Yenachamenu, with a nice trap over, Hu Yenachamenu, Me'oshek Yadenu, he'll make the Tikkun. We finally found, because the 7 generations from Cain were over, Shivasayim Yukam was over, Noach was born, Gevaldik Mashiach is born. The house lit up, like it did with Moshe Rabbeinu. Hu Yenachamenu, was he the Mashiach? No. Why? Because Noach ish tzaddik tamim haya b'doi roisav. He was a tzaddik in his door. It wasn't loy ulazaroi acharav. He was a tzaddik, but he wasn't able to give it to his children, which has, by the way, another kiddush that ironically, the one who's going to be able to give it over to their children are the ones that are more grungy. That's unto itself a chiddush nifla worthy of thought.
We will have enough. He was also insular. He wasn't the
and that was the problem with Noach. He wasn't Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu was out there with the Arabs, with the Avodah Zarah, with the Goyim. He was there. He invented God for the world, if you will. He was there. If he would have been Darish Avram, well, so he was a tzaddik. He was a tzaddik, but it was an elite tzaddik. He didn't even talk. The whole Parshas Noach, from the beginning of Noach, Eila told us Noach, all the way until after the Mabul, there's not one place in the whole Parsha where it says Vayomer Noach, Vayidaber Noach, garbage, like it had nothing. Noach, he existed. He was a tzaddik. Again, we would have given him an aliyah here even. Noach, gewaldige tzaddik, but that he wasn't. What was the chasarn? Everybody says that he wasn't makar of people. What does it mean he wasn't makar of people? He wasn't willing, he wasn't able, he wasn't the one to get all the way down into the gutter with the people of his generation, as opposed to Avram Avinu. So Avram Avinu had this malchus. I saw a Avram Avinu, so in Yechezkel it says about Avram Avinu, and the Rambam brings this pasuk, it says, Echad Haya Avram. Echad Haya Avram. There was only one Avram. I guess that's what it means. There was only one Avram Avinu. Echad Haya Avram. Pashat of Pshat, the Gemara says, Echad Haya Avram, that he was the only one in his generation, he fought the whole generation off. Echad Haya Avram. Another opinion in the Gemara is, Echad Haya Avram. It's all going on a pasuk in Yechezkel, that mitchila va'ad soif, he was a tzaddik. Mitchila va'ad soif, he was a tzaddik. Echad haya Avram. Different opinions. What does it mean? The Rambam brings Echad haya Avram. He paskins kilu at the beginning of Hilchos Avodah Zarah. The Rambam paskins Echad haya that he took the whole world on. But I think Noam Elimelech, if I'm not mistaken, Noam Elimelech asks, what do you mean, B'tchila v'ad soif? B'tchila, he was born in a house of Avodah Zarah. He discovered Hashem, according to one opinion, when he was 3, another one when he was 44, another one but it wasn't born a holy person, B'chal. And the Rambam says, Echad haya Avram, that Avram Avinu came from the base Terach, v'haya kol hadarahu oivdei avodah zarah, and the whole generation was oived avodah zarah. V'af hu haya oived imohem. That's a lashon of Rambam. He was in the nightclubs, Avram Avinu. He was at the church. He was worshiping avodah zarah, imohem, possibly until he was 20, 30 years old. He was serious about tshuva. So he really had a past. He had a past, an Avodah Zarah past, all kinds of things. Avram Avinu, he was a charismatic guy, good-looking guy. Avram Avinu had a past. The Rambam says, "V'afu haya oived imohem ad until he saw the light, says the Rambam, and he saw that there can't be a world without a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and he embraced the Ribono Shel Olam, and out from him came Yitzchak, Yaakov, and us. So what's the pshat, says the Noam Melech, Echad Haya Avram? The answer is that you can't have an Avram Avinu which was only in a holy place. You have to have an Avram Avinu that starts off in a house of Avodah Zarah. Mitchila is how the Agada starts off. Mitchila oiv de Avodah Zarah. You always say, why are we so negative? Like, you're not allowed to say to a Baal Tshuva, I remember you when you used to, worship when you were a Hare Krishna. You're not allowed to do that. But we start off the Haggadah this way. Mitchila oiv de Avodah Zarah. You always say that. Why? Says the Dovid Melech. I believe the Dovid Melech. The pshat is that you have to, like, this is the Malchus of Avram Avinu, that it has to come from a place of Avodah Zarah. It has to. So Dovid HaMelech, says the Gemara, thank you for bringing me back. So Dovid HaMelech, the Gemara says like this about Dovid HaMelech, that Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ein Memaden Melech HaYisrael. You can't be a Melech b'Yisrael, like David, like Shlomo. Ad Shetei Kupa Shel Shratzim Al Tzavar. Kupa Shel Shratzim, he's walking around with the Kupa Shel Shratzim. I'm not sure why the Gemara uses this usage of term, Kupa Shel Shratzim. like his backpack is full of tumah. Sheretz is the worst kind of creepy, ugly tumah. It's not about that. What's the Kupa Shel Shratzim of David HaMelech? Come on, you come from Rus HaMovia. You come from Moab. You're a Melech? If you where does Rus HaMovia come from? From Moab. Where's Moab come from? It's incest. Stone. So the pasuk says, David HaMelech says, Matzasi es David Avdi v'hu b'stoim. Where's Mashiach coming from? He's coming from stone. So Avram Avinu. So the pshat is this is what the Rambam means. What Yecheskel Hanavi meant. Echad Haya Avram. There's only one Avram. He wasn't schizophrenic. He didn't deny his past. Echad Haya Avram. He took the Malchus. In order for him to achieve what he achieved, he had to start in a place of Ahu Haya Oived Moab. It had to be. It had to be. This is why Nimrod was so disappointed. He had great hopes for Avram Avinu, but who Avad Imam? He had to have been an Oived Avodah Zarah. See, it's a pella, like, because this is so clear in Yiddishkeit, in the Gula and the Tikkun. You see, it's Avram Avinu would not have been accepted in most of our Chadarim.
Sure enough.
It's a story I always tell that somebody there was a shul that was looking for a rabbi, so they called the placement guy in NYU. True story. So the placement guy in NYU. So I forgot his name. So he says, I got the perfect rabbi for you. So I said, go out, wonderful. It's on the Mocher. We'll do a Shabbos with an interview. All that. So he says, I just want to tell you in advance that he's about Shuvah. So, okay, can't be against Bali Tshuva, how long has he been about Tshuva for? So he's been a number of years, but he's passed, So the guy's like, he says, okay, so send him over. So he says, just another thing, his wife is a black lady. She's black, yours, but she's black. But it's Rebbetzin. It's gonna, I don't know, all right, so why are you recommending him? He's fantastic, he's about Tshuva, married to a black lady, didn't know it's going to work for the show. So the other thing is, he can't speak in public, he's terrible stammer. I said, what are you doing to me? Why are you sending me this guy? So he says, he says, so you just turned down Moshe Rabbeinu. To understand, that the chasaron is a mile, and the mile is a chasaron, you don't have to be an Izbitcher. That's a Jewish thing. So we turn down these people, and we turn them down to chadar. Who, what, So if I say this to Rosh Yeshivas of Mitsuyanim, why don't you take them in? So, like, why don't you I'm not talking about now, even, learning disabled or just nothing, just stop. Like, your father's not an avrech, ben avrech, ben avrech, ben avrech. So, like, what are you talking about? So he says, this was not the derech of Rav Pam, this was not the derech of Rav Moshe Feinstein, it was not the derech of Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky, it was not the derech of the Gedolim in Eretz Yisrael. Why? So, they always say, like, Heint is Andrish, They always say, "Why'd you switch to Yiddish all of a sudden?" Interesting, interesting Knetch over here. I did not. You have to bring the geula. You have to bring the. I'm involved now with the school. I know how hard this is. It's not an easy thing. But the point is that all the insularity is counterproductive. So let me just show you one more pasuk because we got to end over here. It says here, and then we'll get to the Nefesh Hachaim on Sunday, Mirza Hashem. He says as follows, another strange word, haloim, we just explained. He says, Dovid Melech says, V'ri'isani kisor ha'adam hamalo Hashem Elokim. You picked a regular guy, kisor ha'adam, like a typical person. What did we say the English was? You've given a simple person a lofty position. Kisor ha'adam hamalo Hashem Elokim. You know what the Gemara says about this? That sor, if you turn around the oisius, you get rus. So it means that you've taken somebody. Listen what he say. You've taken somebody who has a kupa shel shrotzim, who has a rus on their back, and so where do you come from? What's your yichus? I don't know. It's changed. My wife has yichus. What is the kisar? He said, this is what Dovid Melech says to Hashem. Kisar ha'adam hamala Hashem Elokim. You've taken somebody that comes from Rus ha'moaviyah, a giyaris in the worst type, the kind that you're not allowed to even bring into Klal Yisrael. The Gemara has to make a drasha about Rus and say Moavi v'lo Moavi. It's like the Gemara has to make a drasha about it, that you can take her in because she's a woman, not a man. If she was a man, you wouldn't be able to be a Megayer. Moavi v'lo Moavis. Kisor hamala Hashem Elokim. So Dovid Melech's comment and reflection on the nevuah of Nasan Hanavi is that I come from Rus. And just one last thing. I want to tell you that when Dovid Melech became the Melech, so who was against him was Achitophel. Achitophel was his friend.
It was his Rebbe, no?
It was his Rebbe, the Gemara says. Then he became his friend. Then he became his Talmud. Eventually he became a shtigl. But he was against the Malchus. He was mamish against the Malchus. And the reason he was against Malchus is, Melech, you don't come from Yichus. So Achitophel was saying the simple, like, who are you to be the Melech Yisrael? The pasuk that if you look in Tehillim Mem Aleph, the pasuk where Dovid Melech says, I answered Achitophel, and I told him, listen to this. I told him, Higdil alai Akev. You know why I'm the Melech? Because Higdil alai Akev, because I'm upside down, because my heels are shining. In other words, I was able to do what Moshe Rabbeinu can't do, where Hashem had to tell him, Shal nalecha me'al raglecha, haya Akev tishvun. I got all the way down, it goes down to the grungiest place, my heel. Higdil alai Akev. That was what he answered Achitophel. It's so important to understand that the machlokes, so to speak, between Achitophel and Dovid Melech is, what is the person that's befitting? Should it be somebody who came from Rus, or should it be somebody that came from from the greatest yichus possible? So he told him that no, dafka, my feet are dirty. I have the dust on my feet from this people, and that's gufa why I should be the Melech, because the whole, and let me just summarize this whole thing that I just said, because the whole inyan of Mashiach and Geula and Malchus is to permeate the dirty earth, to take the earth and to make it Kaddish, to bring it from the lowest place to the highest place. Otherwise, there's a place which is Nister Midarkei Hashem. There's a place which Hashem is not reaching. And Hashem created everything, so it's got to get into that place in order for it to, it's at a very scary place to be.